to understand where from that lotus has emanated. In spite of observing lot of wild wind and water being agitated, the lotus is still stable. So he was confused. Hey, kahan se kaise itna stable reh sakte hain? So he wanted to understand the source for the lotus. So he went into the tubes of the lotus, the stem of the lotus, searched for the source, but he could not do it. By the way, 100 years passed. Then he came back to the top of the lotus flower, then performed austerities for another 100 years. Kalena soja purushayush chadbil. This is verse number 22. Pravutta yogena viruddha bodha swayam tad antar hridaye avabatam apashyata yenna purvam. So that Lord about whom you were searching previously for 100 years, whom you could not find, whom you could not see, now that Lord became visible to him. Antar Hirdaya, first within his own heart, within the heart of Brahma. Then Apashyata Pashatam, he appeared outside. Just like for Dhruva Maharaj also, Lord appeared first in the heart, then appeared outside. Like that, the Lord appeared. And the rest of the chapter talks about what kind of darshan Lord Brahma had in front of his eyes. Yeah, Paramatma became visible. It's like yogis when they meditate, eventually at the stage of dhyana, dharana, samadhi, the Paramatma becomes visible. Not the eyes. Inside, the Atma will see the Paramatma. This external eyes are a via medium. We discussed many times that the chakshu is actually subtle sense organ. Akshini, the eyeball, which is made up of flesh, that is grass sense organ. So with chakshu, one can see inside what is there in the heart. If there is subtle sense organ, the heart, within the heart also the entire thing is subtle. So, but at the stage of dhyana, dharana, samadhi, the yogi can see Paramatma and Atma, the heart. So,
can see ourselves.
just like I can see myself that way. I can see myself and I can see you who are sitting next to me. Same way. Can be. So in the first verse, it talks about the darshan of the bed of Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. That is about Anantashesh. मृणालगौरा यतशेषभोग पर्यङ्क एकं पुरुषं शयानम् फनातपत्रायुतमूर्ध्नरत्न द्युभिर्हतध्वान्तयुगान्ततोये. So this is verse number 23, wherein the description of the bed of Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is described. So it is like Garbhodakshaya Vishnu very happily slept on top of this bed, which is non-different from Anantashesh. It is very comfortable, and the speciality of this bed is, it says that Fana Atapatra Ayuta Murdna. The bed had thousands of umbrellas like hoods. Every hood is like one Atapatra. Every hood is like one umbrella. And on top of that, each and every umbrella, Murdna, Ratna Jubir, there is one Mukut. In the Mukut, in the middle of the Mukut, there is one Ratna. That Ratna is emitting wonderful bright light. So there are Ayuta Murdna. Ayuta refers to 10,000 in Sanskrit. So 10,000 are actually thousands of hoods are there. Upon each hood there is one Mukut. In each Mukut there is one Mani, Ratna, that is emitting wonderful light. So all put together appears to be like from the Garbhodaka ocean there comes thousands of white water lilies. Because every hood is brightly shining because of this money which is there in the Mukut. The entire hood appears to be like a white water lily. So Brahmaji is seeing thousands of white water lilies coming out of the Garbhodaka ocean. So in the future verse also you will see that lot of analogies are being mentioned. Why they are mentioned in terms of various analogies, we will discuss in the 9th chapter 1 and 2 verses. There the actual understanding will get why all these analogies are being described here. So this is the darshan of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's bed, that is Anantashesh having thousands of hoods. Now Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Verse number 24. प्रेक्षां क्षिपन्तं हरितोपलाद्रे सन्ध्याभ्रणिवेर्पुरुरुक्ममूर्ध्ना रत्नो ददारौषधिसौ मनस्या वनसृजो वेणुभुजाङ्घ्रिपाङ्घ्रे. Yeah, someone can read the translation.
The luster of the transcendental body of the Lord mocked the beauty of the coral mountain. The coral mountain is very beautifully dressed by the evening sky, but the yellow dress of the Lord mocked in its beauty. There is gold on the summit of the mountain, but the Lord's helmet, bedecked with jewels, mocked it. The mountain's waterfalls, herbs, etc., with a panorama of flowers, seems like garlands, but the Lord's gigantic body and his hands and legs, decorated with jewels, pearls, tulsi leaves, and flower garlands, mocked the scene on the mountain.
So, in this verse, when Lord Brahma saw the beautiful form of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, so he is comparing that form with a wonderful coral mountain. Harita Upa, Haritwa Upala Adri. Adri is mountain. Harita Upala means a mountain filled with green stones. So Prabhupada translates as coral stone. Chakravarti translates as emerald. Whether it is emerald or coral, both are same only for us. So the Lord's beauty, it is defeating the beauty of a coral mountain. How coral mountains becomes beautiful, and taking that as a reference, Lord's beauty is compared. Preksham Kshipantam Haritopaladre. Whatever beauty we may consider the coral mountain having in this material world, Lord's beauty is defeating that beauty of the coral mountain as if it is insignificant. Preksham Kshipantam means it is very small, insignificant, like that. And what makes it is so beautiful? How Lord's beauty is appearing like a coral mountain? Sandhyabra Niver Urukma Murdna. So Sandhyabra Niver. In the evening, the clouds which are there adjacent to the peaks of the mountain, they actually shine very brightly. Because sun is setting, the sunlight will be falling on the clouds. The sun is behind, if you take, and the sunlight is falling on the clouds. But the mountain towards our side will be dark. The backside mountain will be lighted by sun, our side will be dark. But just above the mountain peak, there is cloud. That cloud will be very bright, very whitish. So that is being considered here. And then Sandhyabra Niver Ururukma Murdana. How does it appear? That cloud appears to be yellow cloth of the Lord's beautiful form. Because evening, the clouds, if you see, the sun is crimson reddish color. The clouds also will have similar hue. They are kind of yellow. So that yellowness is the yellowness of Lord's Pitambar. And then Uru Rukma Murdna, then it is said that the same, in addition to the same clouds, the sun is also situated there. The sun is seen like a stone in the mukut of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. The sun is beautiful and surrounded by so many black clouds also. There could be many black clouds or yellowish clouds. Lord's mukut is also made up of gold. Along with Lord's cloths, mukut is also made up of gold. In the golden mukut, in the middle there is one bright jewel. That is like sun. The sun is compared to be like that. And then Ratna, Udadi, Udadara, Aushadi. Ratna, Udadara, Aushadi, Saumanasya, Vanasrujo. Lord is wearing wonderful flower garlands. Lord is also wearing pearl garlands. Lord is also wearing wonderful necklaces. They are all compared to Ratna. There are so many stones, beautiful stones that are there in the mountain. They are all appearing to be like the garland of the Lord's, around the Lord's neck. And Udadara, the water streams, all the water streams appear to be like a pale necklace around Lord's neck, and all the stones appear to be like a gold stone embedded necklace upon the neck of the Supreme Lord. And Aushadhi, all the green plants, all the greenery vegetation, and Somanasya, all the variety of flower plants, they all the green vegetation appears to be like a Tulsi garland, and all the flower plants appears to be like a flower garland. So Lord is wearing all the variety of garlands. Those who are in the dressing, they can understand all the variety of necklaces, garlands, all these things will be given to Lordship every day. So in that way, one thing is compared to one kind of garland. Ratna compared to golden necklaces embedded with stones. Udadara compared to the pearl necklace, which is white, the water streams are white. And Aushadhi refers to the green plants, which are there all over the mountain. There appears to be like a Tulsi garland. Somanasya refers to the flower plants, that is like a flower garland. They are all Vanasrujo. Vanasruja refers to the flower garlands, all the variety of other garlands woven by the Supreme Lord. And finally, Venu, Bujangri, Pangri. There are some trees, generally considered to be the bamboo trees, which are there on the top of the mountain. They are like the long arms of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord will have long arms. Ajanu Lambita Bujo, Kanakava Dato. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu description comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And even Lord Ram, when he is described in Ramayana, his hand fingers are touching the knees when he stands. Like that, his hands are said to be very long. So Venu Bhuja. Bhuja are compared to the Venu. Venu means Venu Gulmalata, that is basically the bamboo trees. And Angri Pangre. The Lord's feet are compared to other set of trees which are there at the base of the mountain. So Lord's beautiful form is compared to the entire beauty of the coral mountain. But Lord's beauty is much superior to that of coral mountain. So this is the way Lord Brahma having a vision of the Lord's wonderful darshan. Why all these variety of analogies are being mentioned, we will discuss in the next chapter. So the Prabhupada writes, the panoramic beauty of nature, which strikes one with wonder, may be taken as a perverted reflection of the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord. One who is therefore attracted by the beauty of the Lord is no longer attracted by the beauty of material nature, although it does not minimize its beauty. So it's like that. Whoever is attracted to the beauty of the Supreme Lord is not attracted to the beauty of this material world. So in that way. Emerald. Coral means the stones. The name itself of the stone. The stone's name is coral. Emerald, basically. They are green stones. Huh? Okay, Prabhupada took it like that. But Haritopala Adre. The mountain when you see from the far, it is a green mountain. Green mountain. So the stone should be green stone. Yeah, emerald. Chakravarti writes emerald, Prabhupada writes as a coral. I thought both are same only. Lapis lazuli, like there's so many stones are there. I never used, emerald, like that ruby. Ruby is red. So it's like that. So then we'll go ahead to the next one. Next another analogy is there, 25th verse. Ayamato vistarata swamana dehena lokatraya sangrahena vichitra divya baranam shukanam krita sriyapa shrita vesha deham.
Is transcendental body. Is transcendental body.
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhuji. Continue.
His transcendental body, unlimited in length and breadth, occupied the three planetary system, upper, middle, and lower. His body was self-illuminated by unparalleled dress and variegatedness and was properly ornamented.
Here our Rajino Shamprabhu is telling that you are experiencing Sthai Bhava. That's why you could not go ahead with your reading. You got stuck in between because you entered into ecstasy.
No problem.
So no problem. So this is another analogy. So this analogy we can see in a two way. One is ayamato vistara swamana dehena loka traya sangrahena. So it is said that the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's generally posture is sleeping posture. So one meaning is the Lord appears to be expanded to the entire area of the universe. As he was sleeping on the Sheshapanpu, on the bed of Anantashesh, he is as wide as the universe. That is one meaning. The second meaning is Loka Traya Sangrahena. If you take this Loka Traya Sangrahena, here Lord Brahma is also seeing the darshan of the Supreme Lord as if Lord is standing. When Lord stood, he is occupying the entire area of the three planetary systems, Bhuloka, Bhurloka and Sargaloka. That is Lokatraya refers to three planetary systems. In height, if he is standing, in height he is occupying the entire universe consisting of three planetary systems, Bhuloka, Bhurloka, Sargaloka. If he is sleeping, still he is occupying the entire universe. So his dimensions are that big. He is so big. The size of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is so big, he is occupying the entire universe. And more than that, Vichitra Divya Baranamshu Kanam Krita Shriya Pashrita Vesha Deham. Vichitra Divya Abarana. The Lord's beauty is constantly changing. Just like the deity's beauty, 3D Shringar changes every day. Here in front of in front of Lord Brahma, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's Shringar is keep changing at every moment. So now he is in one dress and one kind of alankar. Next moment in another dress, another kind of alankar. All Divya Abarana. Abarana is ornaments. Vichitra Divya Abaranamshu Kanam Krita Shriya Pashrita Vesha Deham. Is Deha Vesha, it is keep changing and giving wonderful bliss to Brahma, the onlooker. So this the Vichitra refers to, it is surprising. I mean, it is like astonishing, keep changing. So Brahma is experiencing that auspicious, the surprising beauty of the Supreme Lord with a different variety of dressings. So he is spread across the entire universe. If he is sleeping, he is occupying the three planetary systems. If he is standing, and his beauty is keep, his shringar is keep changing. That is Vichitra. So in that way, variegated. Prabhupada translates it as. The length and breadth of the transcendental body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead could only be measured by his own measurement because he is all pervading throughout the complete cosmic manifestation. It is mentioned as Swamana. According to his own way of measurement, he is spreading throughout the entire universe. In that way it is mentioned. So he is so big. So that is indicated in this verse. And now, continuation of the previous verse. Pumsham swakamaya vivikta margair abhyarchatam kamadugangri padmam pradarshayantam krupayana kendu mayuka binnangulicharu patram.
The Lord showed his lotus feet by raising them. His lotus feet are the source of all awards achieved by devotional service free from material contamination. Thus, awards are far from those who worship him in pure devotion. The splendor of the
You can
transcendental rays from his moon-like toenails and fingernails appeared like the petals of a flower.
Yeah. Here one interesting understanding is Pumsham swakamaya vivikta margair abhyarchatam kama dugangri padnam. The devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a desire to attain shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or with a desire to attain service to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kama Duga Angri Padmam. When they execute bhakti in various ways, Vivikta Margair, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, in Vedi Sadhana Bhakti, Raganu Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, in different ways, only with a desire to get the lotus of the Supreme Personality of God or serve the Supreme Personality of God, get the opportunity to serve the Supreme Lord. Pradarshyantam Krupaya Nakendu. In order to reciprocate with their devotional service, in order to reciprocate with their hard endeavors in their devotional service, the Supreme Lord slightly raises one of his feet. So that is being indicated. He slightly raises Pradarshyantam in order to give them darshan, in order to reciprocate with their wonderful devotional service. Kripaya Nakendu Mayuga Binnangulu Charu Patram. Lord raises one of his 2 feet, just little high. If he is sleeping, he just raises above. So when they see that feet, in that feet, what they see is the toenails. The toenails appears to be like a brightening moon, the full moon. And the Purnima, like today is Sharad Purnima. If you happen to see in the sky now also, you can see full moon. So all the 5 toenails of that particular feet appears to be like 5 full blown moons. And Hare Krishna, whoever it is, kindly mute. Hare Krishna, kindly mute where it is. So the 5 fingers, the 5 nails of the 5 fingers of the feet, they appear to be like a 5 full moons. And in the brightness coming out of those 5 full moons, the entire 5 fingers of Lord's feet appears to be like water lilies. They appear to be like beautiful petals of a lotus, which is opened up in the water. The Lord's feet is like the lotus flower. The 5 fingers are like the 5 petals, which are kind of opened up. So like that, Lord Brahma is glorifying the wonderful darshan of Lord's feet as he raises. If Lord is in sleeping posture, if Lord is in standing posture. So Acharya explained that Lord raising 1 feet. If you see the deity of Lord Ram, the 2 feet are firmly stable. Anywhere in India, any temple, Lord Rama's deity will be standing properly, like all of us stand, the way stand. But Lord Krishna's deity, 1 feet is kindly raised, like slightly raised. So when it is slightly raised, we can actually witness, we can see the 5 toenails very clearly, and 5 fingers also very clearly. And because of that, the toenails are acting like the 5 moons, and the fingers are acting like the 5 petals of the entire beautiful lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So when we take this understanding, that means Lord Brahma had the darshan of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and the same Garbhodakshaya Vishnu also showed the darshan of Lord Krishna also. And that Acharya quotes one Upanishad known as Gopala Tapani Upanishad, which says that there is a wonderful line here. Tadu ovacha brahmano sadanam charato me dhyata stuta parardhyante so abudhyata gopavesho me purastat avirbhuva. Basically says that during my second parardha, during my 51st year, 1st month, 1st day, early in the morning, after performing intense tapasya, when I had the darshan of the Supreme Lord, that darshan of Supreme Lord is that of Gopavesha, of a cowherd boy, that is referring to Lord Krishna. And then Prabhupada writes that after having the darshan of this cowherd boy, Lord Brahma in his glorification offered the prayers known as Brahma Samhita. If you take the darshan of this Lord as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, then whatever prayers Lord Brahma offered, they are there in the next chapter, 9th chapter. If you take this form to be Krishna, then whatever prayers Lord Brahma offered are there in the Brahma Samhita. Those prayers which we recite on every Sunday. So that is the understanding. So for our point of view, in this chapter, Lord Brahma is actually having the darshan of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, was actually sleeping on the Sheshapambu. He slightly raised his 1 feet. But from Acharyas, they get into ecstasy and rasa and bhava. They say that it is also Lord Krishna's darshan, whose feet is like slightly curved, slightly twisted, so that the 5 fingers can be seen very clearly. And then Lord Brahma offered Brahma Samhita prayers, in the glorification of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So that is being indicated in this verse.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
So here Prabhupada writes, according to the Gopal Tapani Upanishad, the Lord showed one of the many thousands of petals of his lotus feet. I could not understand this, Prabhu.
Lord showed one of many thousands of lotus petals. It's okay, na? Lord Krishna has only 2 feet, but Garbhodaksha Vishnu or Mahavishnu can have thousands of feet. It's like Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapath, Sahasrangi. Like he has thousands of feet. So out of which one he has shown. So in that way we can connect.
You have thousands of feet, and you can see all those feet atoms. No?
If devotee desires to see, Lord can display all those thousands of feet. No problem. Just like Arjuna also saw in the universal form. Thousands of feet, thousands of hands, thousands of heads.
Yeah.
It's up to the desire of the devotee. Arjuna wanted to see, Lord showed it. If you also want to see, you will be shown that darshan.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. मुखेन लोकार्तिहरस्मितेन परिस्फुरत्कण्डलमण्डितेन सोनायितेनादरबिम्बभासा प्रत्यर्हन्तं सुनसेन सुब्रुवा.
He also acknowledged the service of the devotees and vanquished their distress by his beautiful smile. The reflection of his face, decorated with earrings, was so pleasing because it dazzled with the rays from his lips and the beauty of his nose and eyebrows.
So here it says that when devotees perform bhakti, undergoing lot of endeavors, in order to reciprocate with them, the Lord simply shows his beautiful face. That is what he completely pacifies and makes the devotees forget all their endeavors by having the wonderful darshan of the Lord's beautiful face. So that is being mentioned here. Mukena lokarti harasmitena parispurat kundala manditena sonayitenadara bimbabasa pratyarhayantam prati arhayantam. In order to serve back the devotees are constantly engaged in service of Supreme Lord. In order to reciprocate with their hard endeavors, the Lord serves them backward in return by simply displaying his wonderful, beautiful face. And that beautiful face has so many qualities. One of the qualities is Lokarti Harasmitena. That face has wonderful smile. That smile will evaporate all the difficulties of the sadhaka. So, in that way. Mukena Smitena Lokartihara. The beautiful smile in the face of the Supreme Lord will remove all hard struggles of the devotee. Later on in the third canto, only we will read in the 20th chapter, Lord Kapila was describing about the beautiful face of the Supreme Lord, wherein he offers a wonderful prayer that Hasam Are Ravanatagil Loka Tivra Shokashru Sagara Vishoshana Matyudara Sammohanaya Rachitam Nijamayasya Brumandale Munikrutam Makaradvajasya. Wherein he says that when the devotee has the darshan of the beautiful face of the Supreme Lord, Hasam Arer, in the face, the most important thing is the beautiful smile of the Supreme Lord. Asam Arer Avanatagila Loka Tivra Shoka Shushagara Vishoshana Matudara. Whatever shoka that Jiva has emitted in this material world, if all the tears are collected together, they will be like a wonderful ocean. But that entire ocean will be dried up in one instant as soon as they see the beautiful smile of the Supreme Lord. So this is what is the effect by seeing the wonderful beauty of the Supreme Lord, beautiful face of the Supreme Lord. And then the same face, after the smile, the next most important thing should be seen is eyebrows. Bru Mandale Munikrute Makaradvajasya. It says that for the sadhakas who are trying to overcome the influence of material nature in this material world, the most important affliction caused by Maya is attachment to opposite sex. So that will be taken away when devotees see the beautiful eyebrows of the Supreme Lord, which are like Makara Dvaja, which are like the arrow of the Cupid. So they will be saved from the arrows of Cupid. So that is the indicated in that verse. Same thing is also mentioned here. So Smitena, the beautiful smile, then Parismurat Kundala Manditena. So it is said that the beautiful smile of the Supreme Lord along with his two cheeks, the reddish cheeks, the entire area becomes dazzling and very much bright by two kundalas, Makara kundalas. The Makara kundalas are brightly shining, they are very bright. They are actually brightening the entire face, especially the cheeks and the smile. Soniyate Nadara Bimbavaso. Adara Bimba Basa. Adara means the two lips, basically the smile, and Bimba Basa, all the cheeks, they are all becoming bright. And then Sunasena Subruva. The darshan also has very beautiful nose, and also Subruva, very beautiful eyebrows. So this is the darshan was given to Lord Brahma. So here basically the beautiful face of the Supreme Lord is being described. His beautiful smile, beautiful Makara Kundala, because of which the entire face is brightly shining. And in that face, Sunasa, very beautiful nose, and also Subruva, beautiful eyebrows. They are all being seen by Lord Brahma. Prabhupada writes, devotional service to the Lord is very much obliging to him. There are many transcendentalists in different fields of spiritual activities, but devotional service to the Lord is unique. Devotees do not ask anything from the Lord in exchange for their service. Even the most desirable liberation is refused by devotees, although offered by the Lord. Thus, the Lord becomes a kind of debtor to the devotees, and he can only try to repay the devotees' service with his ever enchanting smile. What Lord can do in return to the service of the devotees is giving his beautiful smile. So this is being expressed in the Rasapanchadhyay. At the end of these chapters, Lord Krishna himself says that Naparameham Niravadya Samujam Sadatu Krutyam Vibudayu Shayat Dapi. He says that, my dear gopis, I cannot repay for what you have done, even if I have got the lifespan of Lord Brahma. Even for that lifespan also, if I continue to serve you, I cannot repay you for what you have done for me. So Lord becomes indebted for the devotional service rendered by devotees. So in that way, this verse actually indicates that what Lord can do is, he can slightly smile at those devotees. If you remember in the first canto, when Kunti Maharani offers wonderful prayers, at the end of the prayers, Lord Krishna, does he say anything in return to Kunti Maharani? Did he speak anything to Kunti Maharani?
No, he simply smiled.
Why? He could have spoken something, na? His one smile is equal to thousands of words. His one smile actually gives all answers to the devotees' queries. So that is what the way Lord reciprocates in the way. Kadamba Kinjal Kapisanga Vasasa Swalankritam Mekalayani Tambe Harena Chananta Danena Vasta Srivastavaksha Stalavallabhena.
O my dear Vidura, the Lord West was covered with yellow cloth, resembling the saffron dust of Kadamba flower, and it was encircled by a well-decorated. His chest was decorated with Srivastava, marking necklace of unlimited value.
So this is simple. The Lord was wearing wonderful Pitambara garment. The color of that Pitambara garment is Kadamba Kinjalka Pishanga Vasasa. It's basically the color of the golden Kadamba pollen. So Kadamba flower will have pollen. The color of that pollen is golden color. So the Lord's the yellow garments are like that. And Swalankritam Mekalaya Nitambe. That yellow color Pitambara is tightened by a wonderful belt. Mekalaya refers to the belt which is there above that. A belt studded with diamonds and other things. Harena Chananta Danena Vasta, Srivasta Vaksha Stalavallabena. And on the Lord's chest, there is a wonderful hara. It refers to the Kaustuba Manihara and Vaijayantimala. And also, there is a Srivasta Vakshasthala Vallabena. There is a Srivasta mark on the chest of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the other parts of the beauty of the Supreme Lord's beautiful form. So this is what Lord Brahma had. Parardhakeyuramani praveka parastha durdanda sahasra shakam avyaktamulam bhuvanangripendram ahindra bhoger adivita vishvalsam.
The sandalwood tree is decorated with fragrant flower and branches. The Lord's body was decorated with valuable jewels and pearls. He was a self-situated tree, the Lord of all others in the universe. And as a sandalwood tree is covered with many snakes, so the Lord's body was also covered by the woods of Ananta.
So here another. Now the Lord's beauty is compared to a sandalwood tree. He said that Parardhya Keyura Mani Praveka. Just like a sandalwood tree becomes very beautiful by so many branches and flowers. Similarly, the Lord becomes beautiful by so many valuable jewels and pearl necklaces. Keyura are like one kind of jewels and money is like the one kind of monies, all the variety of pearls and etc. So with all those things, Lord's beauty is increasing in that sense. Pariyasya Dordanda. Pariyasya Dordanda is refers to the tree branches are going everywhere. Pariyasya Dordanda Sahasra Shakam. The sandalwood tree has thousands of shakas, thousands of branches which are going everywhere. Similarly, Garbhodaksha Vishnu had thousands of arms which are spreading everywhere, which are there everywhere. Thousands of arms cannot be at one place. They need to go one hand here, one hand there, one hand like that. They are spread all over. So in that way. Avyakta Moolam. Just like the roots of a sandalwood tree cannot be traced because the roots are very, very, very deep. Sandalwood tree are very deep. It has roots very deep. Similarly, the origin of the Supreme Lord cannot be traced because there is no origin to the Supreme Lord. He is ever existing. If one want to trace the origin of the Supreme Lord, one can never come to that. And Bhuvana Angripa Indram. So he says that Bhuvana Angripa Indram. Just like a sandalwood tree, the king among all the trees on the earth. Here our Prabhuji is there. He is from Karnataka. And in Karnataka, sandalwood forests are very famous. And they are very costly also. So that's why they are very famous. And they are under government protection and all. Etc. A lot of smuggling happens. So sandalwood tree is very costly. That's why it is called as Angripa Indram. Angripa refers to all the plants, all the trees. Among all the trees, sandalwood tree is like the king, Indra. So, like that, the Supreme Lord is like Indra, like the best among all the personalities. So, what is the role of a king? The role of a king is to protect everyone. The forest becomes protected if there is a sandalwood tree in that forest. If there is no sandalwood tree in the forest, it is like an abandoned place. It is a barren land. But if there is a sandalwood tree, there will be fencing, there will be security, the forest will be taken care of very nicely, there is a lot of protection will be awarded to that. Yeah, it's valuable. Say this is the role of a king. The king will take care of all the people, just like Indra takes care of all of us. The Lord Vishnu also takes care of all of us. So that is indirectly indicated here. So then, Ahindra Boger. Ahi Indra Boger. The sandalwood tree becomes the resting place for all the variety of snakes. Generally in the forest there are a lot of snakes. Different snakes take shelter of different trees. The generally trees will have some holes. In that hole the trees the snakes will take rest. But the king among the snakes will take rest on top of king among all the trees. Ahindra Boger. This sandalwood tree is meant for the enjoyment of the king of snakes. Same way, Garbhodaksha Vishnu is enjoyed by all the king of snakes. That is Anantashesh. Anantashesh is all the king of snakes. He is constantly associating with Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Just like the king of snakes will be always associating with sandalwood tree. Adivita Valsam. The last line he says. Adivita Valsam refers to just like sandalwood tree is occupied by so many snakes. Sandalwood tree is generally filled with so many snakes. This is generally talked about in terms of Lord Jagannath's deity. If you remember, once in 13 years or 20 years, Navakalevar happens. So one of the symptoms to understand whether the plant is suitable for making the deity is the tree should be having lot of snakes on it, because all the snakes will be protecting the tree from intruders who will come and cut it. The snakes don't allow anybody to come and cut the tree. Only when the bona fide pandas they come, then the snakes they do some kind of worship, then the snakes will go away and they will cut the tree and bring it and make the deity out of it. So in that way. So if the trees are special, that snakes take rest in that. And sandalwood tree is always emitting wonderful fragrance. All the snakes will make their home in the tree. So just like snakes will take rest in the sandalwood tree, the Anantashesh will have thousands of hoods. All of them are associating with Garbhodaksha Vishnu constantly. So like this, the Lord's form is compared to a sandalwood tree. So in terms of its beauty, number of hands, unable to find the root, and it is the associate of the king of the snakes, and also the associate of all the other set of snakes, and he is the maintainer of all the living entities. Like that, Lord's greatness is glorified in this verse. All of you are able to follow? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Now continues. Description continues. Chara charauko Bhagavan Mahindram Ahindra Bandhum Salilopagudam Kirita Sahasra Hiranya Shringam Avirbhuvat Kaustuba Ratna Garbham.
Like a great mountain. Mataji, continue. Like a great mountain, the Lord stands as the abode for all moving and non-moving living entities. He is the friend of the snakes because Lord Ananta is his friend. As a mountain has thousands of golden peaks, so the Lord was seen with the thousands of golden helmeted hounds of Anantanaga. And as a mountain is sometimes filled with jewels, so also his transcendental body was fully decorated with valuable jewels. As a mountain is sometimes submerged in the ocean water, so the Lord is sometimes submerged in the water of devastation.
So in this verse, the Lord's form is compared to a Malaya mountain. Malaya mountain is said to be having a lot of sandalwood trees. In relation to Madhavendra Puri, when he wanted to get Chandan for Lord Gopal, he came all the way up to Puri. Then, of course, on the way, Gopinath performed Kirchor pastime, because of which everyone came to know about the greatness of Madhavendra Puri in Puri. So they all brought Chandan from Malaya mountain and gave it to Madhavendra Puri. And he was supposed to take it to all the way to Vrindavan. But on the way, again, Gopinath told that you apply Chandan to me, it is as good as applying to Gopal. That entire forest is connected to Malaya mountain. that is very well known for the sandalwood trees. So that is being connected here in this verse. Characharauko Bhagavan Mahindram. So just like Malaya mountain is considered to be king of all mountains, which is the resting place for all the variety of moving and non-moving entities. Because when it is a mountain, it will have a lot of forest trees and there are a lot of animals. Achara means all the forest trees and Chara means all the forest animals. Just like a mountain gives shelter to all the variety of living entities, the Supreme Lord is also resting place for all the variety of living entities. He is also called as Janardana, the shelter of all the variety of living entities. And more specifically among all of them, Ahindra Bandhum, the close friend of Ahindra. Ahi refers to the snakes, Indra refers to the king among snakes. So the best of snakes will live in Malaya mountain because it is filled with a lot of sandalwood trees. They attract the king among the snakes. Similarly, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu attracted the king among snakes. That was Adishesha in that way. And Salila Upagudam. And this mountain is filled with a lot of waterfalls. Salilam means water. There are a lot of waterfalls. They are comparable to Kirita Sahasra Hiranya Shringam. The Lord will be having so many garlands, the beautifully jewel necklaces, and also Kirita Sahasra Hiranya Shringam. And these sandalwood trees appears to be on the peaks of the mountain appears to be many Shringa, many mountain peaks with the trees appears to be very beautiful. The Lord also has so many mukuts. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu has so many heads and so many mukuts are there. They are compared to many peaks in the mountain, Malaya mountain. Avir Bhavat Kaustuba Ratna Garbham. So the sandalwood forest becomes beautiful, one of the beautiful because of one of the beautiful tree. Same way, the Lord's form becomes beautiful by the presence of one of the jewel known as Kaustubhamani. So in that way. So like these are different things. Kind of comparison is given to a sandalwood forest or Malaya mountain consisting of sandalwood trees in great number. So in that way. So now this is the last verse describing the beauty of the Supreme Lord. Nivita Mamnaya Madhuvrata Shriya Sakirti Maya Vanamalaya Harim Suryenduvayu Agni Agamam Tridam Damabi Parikramam Padanikair Durashadam. Some of you can read.
Lord Brahma, just looking upon the Lord in the shape of the mountain, concluded that he was Hari, personage of Godhead. He saw that the garland of flowers on his chest glorified him with Vedic wisdom in sweet songs and looked very beautiful. He was protected by the Sudarshana wheel for fighting, and even the sun, moon, air, fire, etc. could not have access to him.
So here the final thing is mentioned. Nivita Mamnaya Madhu Vrata Shriya. Shriya refers to beauty. The Lord's beauty is increasing by the presence of Amnaya. Amnaya refers to all the Vedas, all the Vedic literature. And Madhu Vrata, all the Vedas personified, they are all appearing like honeybees. And just like honeybees hover around a honeycomb, just like all these Vedas personified are glorifying the wonderful glories of Supreme Lord being situated next to him. That is that appears to be Swakirti Maya Vanamala Ya Harim. And they are making a Vanamala by reciting the mantras of the Vedas. The glories of the Lord becomes like a Vanamala. So it is like that. Just like bumblebees being surrounding a honeycomb, they appear to be like a garland and constantly making humming noise. Similarly, all these, the Vedas personified are describing the beautiful glories of Supreme Lord. And through these glories, they are making a wonderful and beautiful garland for the Supreme Lord. Swa Kirti Maya Vanamalaya. So Lord's own Kirti became one of the Vanamala. So that is it. And that Supreme Lord who is glorified by the Vedas personified cannot be understood so easily by these devatas. Surya, Indu, Surya refers to Surya, Indu refers to moon, Vayu, Agni, Agamam, Tridamavi. Even though they might be the lords of all the three planetary systems, but they cannot understand the true nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead completely. Whose glory is according to their own understanding. All the Vedas personified are glorifying and making a garland of his glories like that. Parikramat Pradhanikir Durashadam. Why the Devatas cannot know? Because Lord is always surrounded by all his intimate associates. One cannot come very close to him in order to understand about him. So one kind of basically it is said that he is surrounded by all his associates. Who are the associates? Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, Saranga, sword, and all the other variety of weapons which Lord holds. Here Lord's form is like the Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. So 1,000 hands are there, means 1,000 weapons will be there. So each and every weapon is like one personality. So others to come near to the Supreme Lord is very difficult because all these people are surrounding him. Lord Brahma is seeing them. So in that way comparison is given. So like this in various analogies, taking the help of various things and various analogies, various beautiful things that we have experienced in this world, Lord's beauty is glorified in this set of verses. Having had this beautiful darshan, then what happened to Brahma? That is being described in the last two verses of this chapter. So all of you are clear with the description of beauty of the Supreme Lord?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
So in all these previous verses, the Lord was compared to the sandalwood mountain, and so his beauty was described, correct? Yes, no?
Yes.
That's why it is said in the translation, Lord Brahma thus looking upon the Lord in the shape of a mountain. This mountain is for comparison purpose.
Yes. Lord Brahma's darshan is compared with so many beautiful things. Why it is compared like that, I will discuss in the second verse of the next chapter. First or second verse. It comes. That's why I did not discuss all those things now.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, in this verse, like the last two lines say that he was protected by Sudarshan wheel for fighting, and the sun, moon, air, fire could not assist to him. So I was little confused in understanding this, because here the Lord's beauty is being described. So Sudarshan for protecting, Sudarshan for fighting, and nobody could come near the Lord. How, like it is a different part of
Wait. Sudarshana is there. If any Asura wanted to come close to Supreme Lord, Sudarshana himself will fight first. Sudarshana will kill those Asuras. But in case of Devatas, Sudarshana will not fight with them. See, if you want to know somebody, how do you know about somebody? You have to come close to that person, you have to observe very clearly. Then you can know about that person. So what verse is saying that the Lord is surrounded by so many people who are weapon personified. Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, Sword, Dhanush, etc. So many things. Thousands of hands are there, thousands of weapons will be there. So इतना लोगों को पास करके आगे कैसे जाएंगे? That's why all the devatas cannot understand about him completely. They can only see the Lord only from far distance. They cannot come very close to him because so many people are there in between. So that is the understanding.
Okay, thank you.
So now, Brahmaji, after this darshan, what happened to Brahma? Tarheva tanna bisara sarojam atmanamamba swashanam viyakcha dadarsha devo jagato vidata nata param loka visarga drishti.
The maker of the universal destination, thus saw the Lord. He simultaneously glanced over creation. But Brahma saw the lake in Lord Vishnu's navel, and the lotus flower, as well as the devastating water, the drying air and sky, all became visible to him.
So then, So what was the purpose? What was the original thing, Brahma? Brahmaji wanted to do creation as it was earlier, yesterday. That was the thing. Visarga Drishti, Loka Visarga Drishti. With an intention to do the creation, that is his service. Now Lord Brahma, after looking at the beautiful form of the Supreme Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and he also looked on the other things. What all he could see? He could see that Tannabi Sarasa Sarojam. He saw the navel of Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu. In that navel there is one lake. From that lake there appears the lotus. Previously he wanted to understand from where this lotus came. Now he is seeing that the lotus came out of a water lake which is there within the navel of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. That is a Atmana Mamba Swashanam Vyacha. And he himself is situated on top of the lotus. That is what. And then Dadarsha Devo Jagato Vidata. The Vidata, the secondary creator of the entire universe, Jagato Vidata, he saw that Nata Palam Loka Visarga Drishti. So he saw few other things. What all he saw? Atmanam, he saw himself. Amba, he saw the water. The water in the navel of Garbhodaksha Vishnu and the water of Garbhodak Sagar also. And Swachanam refers to the breathing air. Shwasa, Shwasanam air. Vyak refers to ether. He saw the ether, he saw the air, he saw the water, he saw himself, and he saw the lotus. They are the 5 things which Lord Brahma saw after seeing the darshan of Anantashesh and Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Sakarma bijam rajasoparakta praja sisriksham yedeva drishtva astau visarga bimukastamedium avyaktavartmani abhiveshitatma.
Lord Brahma thus of passion became inclined to create, and after seeing the 5 causes of creation indicated by the personality of Godhead, he began to offer his respective prayers on the path of the creative mentality.
So he says that one interesting thing, Praja Sisriksham Rajasopa Rakta. Rajasa Uparakta Praja Sisriksham. So with a desire to create all the variety of living entities. In the previous verse it is mentioned that Loka Visarga Drishti, with a desire to create 14 planetary systems, and now it says that with a desire to create all the variety of living entities. This was the service of Lord Brahma, creating 14 planetary systems and also creating all the variety of living entities. As a matter of karma bijam, in order to start the activities of the pending activities of all the living entities. The Jiva stopped their activities in the previous day when the Pralay was there. So in order to reactivate their activities, karma bijam, so Lord Brahma wanted to create. Yadeva Drishta, he saw only these 5 things. The 5 things are referring to Brahma himself, lotus flower, water, air, ether. The 5 things. Here, Eva Drishtva, he only saw the 5 things. Astau Visarga Abhimukhas Tattamedium. So with a desire to do his service, so before starting his seva, Tamedium, he began to worship the Supreme Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu. He already had the darshan of the Supreme Lord. In order to have the mercy of the Supreme Lord, in order to get the empowerment from the Supreme Lord, Avyakta Vartmani Abhiveshitatma. So concentrating his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he began to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Avyakta Vartmani means the path which leads to the unmanifest, that refers to Supreme Personality of Godhead. He worshipped on him. So that is what is mentioned. So how Lord Brahma worshipped the Supreme Lord, that is the subject matter of the next verse. So here Prabhupada writes, even if one is in the material mode of passion to create something in the world, he has to take shelter of the Supreme for the necessary energy. That is the path of the successful termination of any attempt. So in this world, any attempt we make, any endeavor we undertake, in order to become successful in that endeavor, we need to pray to Supreme Lord, we need to take the permission and blessings of the Supreme Lord and his representatives. Then all our activities, all our endeavors become successful. As it will be discussed in the future chapters, all the endeavors of Brahma become successful by the constant support of the Supreme Lord. So now his worship is being presented in the next chapter. Here in this chapter, actually Lord Brahma offers around 25 prayers. These are very important prayers, philosophically very enriching, and they describe our tattva very nicely. And the same Brahma also offers prayers to Lord Krishna in the 10th canto, 14th chapter. There he offers more than 40 prayers. So they are also very important. And those prayers and these prayers both combined together are very essential prayers, because Brahmaji is our
Father.
Who is he?
Father.
Father? No, his grandfather. He is the Acharya for our Sampradaya. He is the preeminent Acharya of our Sampradaya. Here, Prabhuji is laughing. Generally, we use it for Prabhupada. Prabhupada is called as preeminent Acharya for our Sampradaya. But the origin and the source, the first person in our Sampradaya is Brahma. Ours is called Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So in that sense. So whatever words spoken by Brahma are like the highest truth for us. So in that way, we should read these two chapters. Chapter 9 of 3rd canto, chapter 14 of the 10th canto. Brahmovacha Jnatosi medya suchiram nanu deha bhajam Nagnataye bhagavato gatiriti avadhyam Nanyattvadasti bhagavan napitanna shuddham Maya guna vyatikarad yadururvibhasi.
Lord Brahma said, "My Lord, today after many years of penance, I have come to know about you. Oh, how unfortunate the embodied living entities are that they are unable to know your personality, my Lord. You are the only knowable object because there is nothing supreme beyond you. If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not the absolute. You exist as a supreme by exhibiting the creative energy of matter."
Yeah. So here it says that Jnatosi me adya Suchiran nanu deha bhaja. Suchiran refers to after long time. Chira means long. Suchira means very long time. After performing austerities for full 200 years, Brahma is saying that 100 years he was searching in the lotus in order to find out the source. Another 100 years he actually performed tapasya. So 200 human years almost he performed hard tapasya. But as a result of that hard tapasya today, after that much time, I had the good fortune of having seen you. What is that? Jnatayo bhagavadir gatir na avadyam. Jnataye bhagavato gatiratir na avadyam deha bhajam. So after performing this Suchiram long tapasya, I could have darshan of your wonderful form. After seeing your form, I could understand who you are. Till now, I was thinking about you in so many other different ways. Unless until I really had your darshan, I could not get proper understanding of your personality. And deha bhajam na avadyam. The people who identify with their body, they will never understand about your greatness. They will never understand about your personalities. Because the people in this material world who are bodily conscious, they see everything in relation to the body only. Just like that frog story is there. A frog in the well was talking to a frog in the lake outside. The frog in the lake is telling that here there is a big lake, it is very big. The frog is telling it is this big, opening his hands and extending his two arms as much as possible, either that big, and opening mouth like that. It was telling that either the lake outside of this well is this as big as this well. Okay, the frog in the well only knows about the well only. It does not know anything beyond the well. Whatever you may say, it only compares everything within the well only. So because of that, a person who identifies with oneself with one's own body can never understand the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That person will always compare the things which can be seen by the gross material body only. So this is what I wanted to inform you. In the previous chapter, there are all analogies which were mentioned in relation to the beauty of the Supreme Lord in order to show a coral mountain or a emerald mountain, sandalwood tree, and Malaya mountain. All these analogies are being spoken because in this material world we have an experience of all these things. So if something is to be mentioned, we need to have some upmana, some reference. With that, it can be mentioned. But unfortunately, the beauty of the Supreme Lord is so entirely different, we cannot describe with our words. To the extent, the best of our abilities can describe the beauty of the Lord is to compare the most beautiful things of this world. The sandalwood tree is the best of all the trees. Emerald mountain is best of all the mountains, or best of all the jewels, like that. That much only we can do. Because the embodied soul cannot imagine more than that. For the embodied soul, the beauty is only this much only. This is the greatest of all beauty. Beautiful waterfalls, beautiful mountain, and such kind of things. So Lord's beauty is generally compared with them. Lord's beauty is generally compared with the lotus flower because that is the most beautiful flower. So, but Lord's beauty is not like the lotus flower. It is much more than that. But we don't have any words to describe it. So our words are very much limited to our experiences. That's why he said that Deha Bhajam na avadyam. The embodied soul will never understand about the Supreme Lord unless until they see. Because we cannot describe about him. We have to be given the audience, then only we will understand what Lord is. We can say that Lord Krishna's hue is like that monsoon cloud, the newly monsoon cloud. But it is not like cloud. Only we can say that the newly monsoon cloud is very beautiful to look at. So it is so beautiful to look at, that's why it is compared with Lord Krishna's beauty. But Lord Krishna's beauty is crores of times superior to that. So in that way. Nanyat Tvadasti Bhavanam, Nanyat Tvadasti Bhagavan Apitanna Shuddham. Since your form is very, very, very pure transcendental form, it cannot be understood by Deha Bhajam. The embodied soul can never understand about your transcendental form. What they can understand is Maya Guna Vetikarad Yadurur Vibhasi. Maya Guna Vetikarad. The three modes of material nature, when they transform, they manifest in the form of a beautiful mountain, beautiful waterfall, beautiful river, beautiful lake, beautiful flower, beautiful tree. We can only have appreciation up to this point only. So we can compare Lord's beauty in relation to these things. Uru Vibhasi. We can glorify Lord's beauty. Lord's beauty is like that of lotus flower, like that of a coral mountain, like this, like that. That much only we can do. This is the limitation of a Deha Bhajam. But Lord's beauty is beyond our comparison, beyond our understanding. Lord Brahma says that today I have understood the greatness of your personality. Today I have understood your personality because I had seen you. Unless until we happen to go to Supreme Lord and happen to see him, we cannot understand who he is. We may hear so many things from our Vedic literature, but all the Vedic literature, the words in the Vedic literature are limited in their expression, in their description. So this is the first verse Lord Brahma says. Yes. Shaka Chandranaya. Okay. Prabhuji is telling about a Shaka Chandranaya. The tree should be taken as a reference to see the moon like that. So here Prabhupada writes, different people have different theories regarding the supreme cause. This is the second sentence. But none of them are genuine. The only supreme cause is Vishnu. And the intervening impediment is the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. So, because we are all covered by illusory energy, we may come up with so many theories. Lord is this, Lord is that, some say Brahman, some say Paramatma, some say Bhagavan, some say this, some say red, some say green, some say black. But everything is limited. Unless until we personally see him, we cannot understand who is he. We cannot get who is that personality. Prabhupada writes in the next paragraph, one can know the supreme cause, the personality of Godhead, by the causeless mercy of the Lord, which is bestowed upon the Lord's pure devotee like Brahma and those in the disciplic succession. The Lord by his own causeless mercy gave darshan to Brahma. It is like Lord becomes satisfied by seeing the hard work of Brahma. Lord understood this we discussed in the second canto 9th chapter. Lord understood the selfless nature of Brahma. This is also further mentioned in the next chapter, 10th chapter, we will also discuss it. Lord Brahma is so selfless that he humbly and genuinely want to serve the Supreme Lord. He humbly want to fulfill the mission of the Supreme Lord. He want to take the mission ahead. He wanted to help in Lord's mission, creating this universe, and so the devotees, living entities can go back to spiritual world after completing their materialistic activities. So Lord becomes so compassionate from Brahma and shows his own form to him. Just like today, this Damodar Mantra started in the Bhagavatam 10th canto 9th chapter. The Damodar Lila is described. In that one verse, it says that what the verse starts with? Samadhu svinna gatraya visrushta kabara sruja drishtva parishraman deki krupayasi swabandhane. When Mother Yashoda, after catching him, when she wanted to bind him to the vocal, to the mortar, grinding mortar, she was trying to bind him by collecting so many ropes. Since morning, the episode started in the morning when Krishna got up, maybe around 7 a.m. or something like that. It went all the way up to noon. Krishna was running here and there in the courtyard. Mother Yashoda was trying to catch him. Sometimes she caught him and she was trying to bind him with 1 rope, 2 rope, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in her entire Goshala of 900,000 cows. And also Goshalas of all other gopis, all other cowherd men, cowherds in that village. Everything they used, but still Krishna is not bound. It is already noon time. And by the way, she was so much exhausted. Her whole body was perspiring. Her clothes are disheveled, her hair was disheveled, flowers are falling apart, etc. etc. Swamatur svinna gatraya. The whole body is sweating, her whole clothes are drenched in that sweat. Visrishta kabara sruja. Her clothing and garlands and hair are all disheveled, going here and there, either and either. Krupayasis drishtva parishman deki. Seeing the hard efforts of Mother Yashoda, Lord Krishna, Krupayasis Sabandhane, by his own causeless mercy, allowed himself to be bound. So, same way, when the Lord sees our hard endeavors, when we want to serve him selflessly, when he becomes pleased with our selfless endeavor, he will causelessly bestow his mercy upon us. He will give his darshan to us. He will take one back to Godhead. So, this is the principle behind this. So in these verses from verse number 1 to 4, in 4 verses, Lord Brahma actually describes the beautiful form of the Supreme Lord. Whatever darshan he had previously in the previous chapter, he kind of describes that beauty of the Supreme Lord according to his own understanding. Rupam yadeta avabodha rasodayena shashvan nivritta tamasa sadanugrahaya adav gruhitam avatara Sataika Bhijam Yanna Bipatma Bhavanat Ahama Virasham.
The form which I see is exemplary free from material contamination and has ultimately to show mercy to the devotees as a manifestation of beautiful potency. This incarnation is the origin of many other incarnations, and I am born from the lotus flower, grown from your navel womb.
So somebody may question that, hey, how can you say that Dehabhajam cannot understand this form? I can see people around me. I can see everyone. So Lord form also must be like one of our forms. How can you say that Dehabhajam will never understand? ऐसा बोल सकते हैं आप? जितना भी guru हो, but ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते. Then Lord Brahma, in order to answer that person, he says that Rupam Yateda Davabodha Rasodayena. Avabodha Rasodayena refers to the form of the Supreme Lord is not made up of material Maya. It is a form made up of spiritual Maya. It is not a byproduct of Mahamaya, instead it is a byproduct of Yoga Maya. It is Lord's Chit Shakti. Lord's form is made up of his Chit Shakti. Sashan Nivrutta Tamasa. It is Nivrutta Tamasa. It is beyond. Here Tamasa not referring to ignorance. Tamasa refers to it is beyond material existence. Shashwan, that is eternal form. It is not temporary. Anything in this material world is temporary. Even Lord Brahma himself has lifespan of 100 years. He is temporary. So every form in this material world is temporary, but his form is eternal. Why? Nivrutta Tamasa. It is not part of the material world. It is beyond material world. And that form who has Shashvat form, which is made up of Chit Shakti, Sadanugrahaya. By his causeless mercy will be revealed to Sat, only to the devotees, not to everyone. The people of this material world who are embodied in the material body cannot have the darshan of Lord's transcendental form. Only the pure devotees will have, by Lord's mercy, the darshan of Supreme Lord. Somebody may say, what is the greatness of this form? Why only Sat? Why not others? Lord Rama says that, Adav Gruhitam Avatara Sataika Vijam. Though the Lord is eternally existing, at the very beginning, Lord manifested his form to my vision. Lord Rama says that I am one like you, one among you. I am also a material jiva, one among you. But to me, at the very beginning, by his causeless mercy, Satanugrahaya, Adav Gruhitam. Lord revealed his form. For the first time to Brahma only gave darshan. And this Lord will also give his darshan in the future to many people. How? Avatara Shataika Bijam. Having appeared, will appear in the form of many avatars. He will appear in the future in the form of hundreds of avatars. That time, many other will see him. Many other devotees will see him. Right now, accepting me, though I am not a devotee, but accepting me as one of the devotees, Lord revealed his beautiful form. In the future, the same Lord appearing in various avatars will reveal his form to various devotees, which are known as Avatara Shataika Bijam. And this Lord will act as source of all the avatars. And that Lord, Yen Nabi Padma Bhavanad Ahamavi Rashat. From that Lord's transcendental body, from his navel appeared a lotus. On top of the lotus, I have appeared. So this is my connection to that Lord whom I am seeing in front of my vision. So that's how Lord Brahma glorifies in this verse. So Prabhupada talks about the three Vishnu forms, Karmadakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and Kirodakshaya Vishnu. And also talks about Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. And talks about Lord's incarnations, etc. etc. So these things, anyway, all of you discussed. First canto, third chapter explains about all these things, etc. So you are able to follow these two verses which are describing about Lord's beauty. Any queries till now?
Prabhu, Haribol. Prabhu, in first verse, in the translation, it says that maybe sometimes Lord is not powerful, somebody empowers, like somebody is more, but it is for temporary. That sentence, can you go back to Prabhu? That I do not understand. How someone can be more powerful than the Lord?
No, somebody is not more powerful than Lord.
If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not at the absolute. So
like, not like that. See, I mentioned, in the previous chapter, Lord's beauty is compared to the beautiful things of this world. We may think that when we go to Kulu Manali or Lonavala or some other place like that, we say that there is nothing more beautiful than this. This is the pinnacle of the beauty. One may say like that, but that does not hold good. Lord's beauty is incomparable to the beauty of this material world, the beautiful things of this material world. It is unlimited. And one more thing, before taking break, we'll take a break in a minute. So all of us, we always hear, 4 kinds of sinful activities. Can somebody repeat? I said 4 kinds of sinful activities, not the regulations. Hare Krishna, anyone? What are the 4 kinds of sinful activities we are supposed to avoid?
4 regulatory principles.
No, sinful activities. It may be a silly question to ask, but just to remind ourselves. Meat eating, intoxication, illicit gambling. In addition to these 4 sinful activities, there are 4 more much severe, much important sinful activities are there. They are speaking lies, okay, punishing more than necessary, punishing someone when somebody makes a mistake more than necessary, sleeping more than required, and the 4th one is visiting places for sightseeing. This is also one of the most important sinful activity. When a person visits to places only for sightseeing, that is also one of the sinful activity, as good as meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. And no, not like that. So it is like that.
Can you repeat?
Prabhuji, what is the reference of this? Because first time I'm hearing that these are more sinful than what regulatory principles we hear. So like
no, if not more sinful, they are as sinful as the 4 regulatory principles.
Yeah, okay, whatever. It is equal to or lesser than or more than whatever, but means where it is mentioned.
Suniya. For me, references is the Gauranga Prabhu. For Gauranga Prabhu, the reference is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Tagore. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Tagore wrote a wonderful book known as Madhurya Kadamini and many more books. In those books, he has written about these things. Yeah, Prabhuji says here, even Prabhupada writes this in his purports. Prabhuji says, watching evening sunset and calling it the most beautiful is demoniac. Like that, Prabhupada wrote, करके Prabhuji बता रहे इधर. Reference is Mohini Murti episode.
Pardon?
Mohini Murti episode, that means 8th canto. In 8th canto, Prabhupada mentions like that, Prabhuji saying.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can you repeat that thing? I couldn't hear it. I missed what you said.
Yeah, one is lying, speaking lies. The second one is oversleeping. Third one is punishing more than required. Fourth one is visiting places for sightseeing. Hare Krishna. Now it's time for visiting the most auspicious darshan on the occasion of Sharad Purnima, the first evening offering of lamp. So while offering the lamp, we should see the beautiful form of the Supreme Lord. We'll take 5 minutes break. All of you can watch in the online, and we will directly watch. We'll join back after 5 minutes.